Welcome back. Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning and we speak with Sharondee Mapp, an enrolled nursing assistant and a scrub technician. As you are aware, we are showing appreciation to nurses. I think it's Nurses Appreciation Week, and so we are going to invite them to hear all about what a nurse does and show some love and appreciation. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tobago.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, happy Nurses Appreciation Week to you. I must start off by saying that we really, truly do appreciate the work that nurses do. We were talking about it just before we went to the break, the hard work that goes into nursing, and sometimes it goes, unnoticed. So we do take the time off to say we appreciate you very, very much. And of course, we want to learn a little bit more about what goes into being a nurse, to nursing, what it requires emotionally, physically, even the training that you have to undergo to ensure that you are a registered nurse. So let's go on that journey with you this morning. When did you start off your nursing journey?
I started my nursing journey in the year 2000.
Right.
That was
Okay.
5 years ago.
Wow. And what has it
Yes.
been like in terms of, let's start with your training, because I know you have to go through you have to get the academia part of it, you have to go through the actual training, doing your exams, passing and stuff like that. What is that period like?
Well, you have to apply to the Ministry of Health to do, well, I'm a nursing assistant, and you have to apply to the Ministry of Health. You have to have 3 subjects, including English and a science subject, to be a nursing assistant. It's a 2-year program conducted by the Ministry of Health. Well, was conducted by the Ministry of Health. It now goes under the purview of COSTAT. It's a 2-year program. The first year you're in classroom for a couple months, and then you go out into the clinical field, and you have your first exam at the end of the first year. And the second year is just like a probationary period where you gain your experience and that kind of thing. It is grueling. The exams are fairly hard. You have to put your work in and study, but it's rewarding at the same time to know that it's an honorable profession, and you get to help people, especially as a nursing assistant. You're hands-on with the patient.
And you said grueling, and I really want to go through the paces in terms of, the bedside care that you give to the patients, having to really give of yourself to ensure that they are comfortable, that they have what they need. What is that actual day like in the field of nursing? Like when you actually go out to work, you're on duty today and you have, let's say, 5 patients that are under your purview for the day. What is it like, the demands of the day?
Well, as I said before, grueling, because they're the international ratio standards, but that doesn't happen in Trinidad and Tobago. It would be you sometimes up to 25 patients would be under your purview, and you're on your feet all day. Sometimes you don't get I carry my lunch to work, and I bring it back home because you don't get a chance to eat. You barely get a chance to use the bathroom. So it's tough, but as I said before, it's definitely rewarding.
And tell me a little bit about what makes it rewarding for you.
Now, for me, serving human beings, serving humankind is the ultimate reward. Being able to help make somebody else feel better, to comfort them, to get them to a better place with their health, and that kind of thing is the ultimate reward for me. And as the saying goes, givers never lack. So apart from being able to help a fellow human being, God blesses you. God blesses you tenfold. So it's satisfying, it's gratifying in that way.
Now, you stated about the job being grueling, right? But what are some of the things that persons in the general public might not know about nursing, or some of the hidden gems in nursing that the members of the public might not know, because they may have a general idea of what nurses do, but only when you're in that position you really get to know all the ins and outs. So what are some of those hidden gems about nursing that you think the public should know?
Okay, like take for instance, I work in the operating theatre, in the gynae operating theatre at Port of Spain General. And sometimes you go to work and you don't have enough resources to perform your daily duties. You have to work so many tricks to get that work done. You have to go to another department to get things to do your daily duties. Sometimes I buy things out of my own pocket, to make sure the patient gets their surgery done, to make sure even my colleagues are comfortable. And I guess the public doesn't realize too that I work 12-hour shifts. You can go an entire 12-hour shift without having something to eat. Or probably you're supposed to use the bathroom within at least every 3 hours. Sometimes you get to use the bathroom once. Sometimes getting to use that bathroom might be at the end of your shift, and people don't see these things. People don't see you standing on your foot constantly for 12 hours at a time. People don't see when you get home, the soles of your feet are on fire, literally on fire. People don't see these things. People don't see you neglecting your family, because sometimes you have to work overtime and you have to forget about what's going on at home, because you have to ensure that the patients get what they need, their safety is intact and all of that.
So, Ms. Mapp, I know you've been a nursing assistant for 25 years, and before we came on air, we were speaking about the sacrifice that the nurses made during COVID-19, the pandemic. Just tell us a bit about your experience during that time period, because we know it was very demanding, even more
Yes.
than usually so. So just give us a little insight into what nurses would have gone through and nursing assistants would have had to endure to make sure that the population stays as safe as you possibly can.
Okay. During COVID, I worked at the maternity theatre at Port of Spain General Hospital, and it was difficult because people seem to have forgotten that pregnant mothers get COVID as well. And at first, it was a bit difficult to navigate in the theatre how to deal with a COVID positive patient, and the amount of PPEs and procedures that you have to go put on, and the amount of things you have to go through to make sure the patient is safe, you are safe, your colleagues are safe. And at that point in time, the air conditioning in the theater wasn't working at its optimal. So you have on all this PPE and you're doing a cesarean section, and you literally feel the sweat pouring down your back. And it's so difficult. The goggles that you have on, as you see, I wear glasses. So I have to wear goggles over these glasses, and it's fogging up and you can't see, and you have to be careful of the risk of needle stick injury and that kind of thing. And it was hard. It was really hard, but thankfully, everyone was safe.
And
I don't think anybody in the department got COVID, at least not at work. If you got COVID, you got it outside of the hospital.
So I was now going to ask you about the psychological impact the pandemic would have had on nurses and nursing assistants. Perhaps maybe, I don't know if you all would have lost colleagues, probably lost patients, that kind of thing. And what was the impact like on nurses and nursing assistants?
It was difficult. Yes, we lost colleagues. I remember the first mother we lost, the department was bleak. Everybody was kind of in a depressed mood. because, you know, we don't usually lose mothers like that. So it was hard, and then you're losing colleagues. And it was hard for us because there was no debriefing provided for us. So we had to deal with this on our own. So it was difficult.
You know, I really have to applaud all the efforts and all that you're saying here today. It really is hitting home. As Akinlabi said, the sacrifice that you make, and now you're talking about the psychological impact of enduring losses, especially during COVID time. This is a job. If you were to summarize this job, somebody on the outside looking in, thinking, considering, what path should I take, and considering nursing as an option, how would you advise that person in a way that is kind of objective so they understand what is required in becoming a nurse?
Okay, so I would tell them it's an honorable profession to begin with. Definitely it's an honorable profession, but it's also a very hard profession. It's a job that you have to love, because you don't want to go into a job and you don't love it. So, I mean, you'll be taking it out on the patients basically. So it's something that you have to love, because, I mean, we want to do right by the patients, because, you know, we always say at first, do no harm. So we want to do right by the patient. So it's a job you have to put a lot of dedication into it. You have to give of your time. Sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself. You have to sacrifice your family. But at the end of the day, you go home feeling good that knowing that you made a difference in somebody's life, in somebody's family's life. Because it's not just the patient you're dealing with, you have to deal with the patient's family as well. So, you know, it's a job that you have to make up your mind. You're going to work hard, definitely. It's not too financially rewarding, because in Trinidad and Tobago, where nurses' salaries are at currently, is not up to international standards at all. So, I mean, it's not too financially rewarding, but you get that feeling knowing you're making a difference in somebody's life.
Oh gosh, I really want to thank you so much this morning. Thank you for coming on here and, you know, enlightening us and our viewers about what it takes to be, you know, just a nursing practitioner, giving that measure of selfless care to persons who, you know, their life depends on you, you know, their comfort and whatever, you know, it really depends on you showing up for them in spite of what you might be dealing with externally. As you just mentioned, it has to be something that you love. And so, you know, on behalf of Tobago Updates Television, we say Happy Nurses Appreciation Week. We appreciate you, not just today, not just this week, but we really, truly do appreciate you. And I do hope that you receive the grace to continue serving in the way that you have served, and that you're an encouragement to those who are coming up and wanting to be a part of the nursing fraternity here in Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you so very much. A heartfelt thank you from all of us here this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, and I do appreciate the appreciation.
Of course. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Sharondee Mapp, an enrolled nursing assistant and a scrub technician. And whoa, she took us through the paces. And sometimes we only see at the surface level, but she took us deep on the inside.
Yes.
So we must show appreciation. Sometimes we go to hospitals and, you know, we get frustrated because the system that kind of is slow, but the nurses, I believe, based on my interaction, they really put themselves into what they are doing. So let's show a little appreciation whenever we have to engage with the services there. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio. And as we go, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.